with you within 48 hours aren't worth it. Lose them.
Yep.
They're not
The-
worth chasing after. You
Mhm.
want to, the
can I
people that are
counterpoint to that?
responsive and on the ball and keeping up are the ones that you need to, you know, keep up with.
Yeah.
Alex
I
has that look that she has something to say.
No, well, I always have something to say, but I like what Angela was saying. Like, you have to be very intentional with setting your boundaries and on what you're doing, in your business. Because yeah, I do that with myself as I'm growing my personal business, professionalism with that. Like, I set boundaries. I know this day, this is what I'm doing. This is what's going on. Outside of it, I can't do that. Not that I can't do it, but I won't because I'm setting those standards. You know what I mean? And then
It's hard
now
for
circling back to
women.
it is hard, but it's really not that hard. You just have to be intentional.
Mhm.
Very intentional about what you're doing and compartmentalize different things. Like right now, I'm thinking about football practice. Like, we got a scrimmage, we got practice this weekend, and I have a scrimmage next Saturday. So in the back of my mind, in the file, I'm thinking about plays. What can we do with the team? But I'm also at work, so I'm learning how to receive product and how to set up the printer over here, and then on the front end, I'm talking to y'all. So I'm very intentional about what I'm doing, is just compartmentalizing. And I'll circle back and fix it all up in steps. You have to be able to do that in your life and while you're running the business.
Yeah.
Now, the professionalism, I that's my passion about me. And what I'm seeing is the lack of soft skills. Like, they stopped teaching that in school, I think, when I was like in the eighth grade, and I graduated high school in 2005. So imagine all those people coming up behind me. You know what I'm saying? They're not understanding those soft skills. So in the cannabis industry, that's why I feel like I need to teach that to help bridge those gaps, to help us grow more professional, take pride in what we're doing. Yeah, I might be smoking a blunt while I'm fixing this PowerPoint for a company, but you're not going to see that in the PowerPoint. You know what I'm saying?
Um, so,
Nancy, sorry, I was just going to jump in. Nancy, were you going to say something? I thought you had a point there too.
Yes, just to your point that, they don't return your email in 48 hours, they're not worth it. I'm sorry, but we are chasing people down, and it might take 6 emails, 17 phone calls, 4 knocks at the door, but God damn it, we get ourselves down there and we close the
Yeah.
deal eventually. But to expect that level of professionalism in this industry, I don't think it's realistic. I don't think it exists.
I'm not saying don't follow up. I mean, your marketing flow is your marketing flow. You're always going to have to be marketing and trying to get in front of the decision makers. But I'm saying,
Also are
uh,
not professional,
sorry.
and not, across the board, but a lot of them, they're not answering email. They're not checking emails for weeks at a time. They tell us this. So I would love to elevate
Yeah.
the sense of professionalism in the industry, and maybe we need to be the examples of professionalism in the industry. And then maybe that's what women are bringing to the industry.
I agree with that.
But I'm not going to wait around for it to get there. We're going to knock down every door we can and overcome that obstacle of indifference. I don't know what it is.
But
Complacent.
also, you gotta be able to meet your client, meet your potential whatever where they are. Think of the brand that you're building, that you're partnering with. They might be a 23-year-old person that's running this company. You got to know that 23-year-olds, they're probably out in the club till 4 in the morning. They ain't doing nothing Monday through Wednesday. So you just got to know who you're dealing with, and know who you're talking to, so you can get the business you need handled. You might need to adjust your business hours to 6 a.m. on a Tuesday. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah,
five.
yeah.
You just got to be able to adjust and pivot, and just be intentional for what you're doing.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I just, we've just been experiencing a certain level of frustration with people's lack of communication. And it's not just here or there. It's,
I'm just going to separate the cream. The cream rises to the top. The people that are responsive and stay on top of their business in a professional way, run their business professionally, are going to rise. The people that don't are going to fail.
And they
So,
are.
they're
Yep.
so, you only have so much time to commit. So where are you going to put that time? You're going to put it in somebody that is intentional about growing their business, or somebody that's screwing around in the clubs until 3 a.m. every night? Which one of those two businesses is going to be open a year from now?
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
You hit them all.
But you have to.
That scattershot, at the end of the day, that scattershot approach is not effective. You want to have an ICP and research who you're going to target, and
Oh
not
Correct.
yeah.
just scattershot,
Yeah.
Yep.
like
Oh,
Alex said, you
do
need to
that.
know who you're talking to. Yeah.
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 There are so many gatekeepers on the way to getting to those decision makers who never call you back too. So it's really
Especially
quite
for women,
a
we
challenge.
get screened so much more.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
The good thing about today's world, except for back in the day, is technology. Boy,
Yep.
you can Google everybody, you can find them, you can be your own private eye. That's what I love about today's world. Like they, but Alice, how you met that person? I didn't meet him. I just went online and found them. Like you just
Yep.
click that, and you go from there. Like you got to be willing though to get uncomfortable sometimes. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. I say
Yep.
to go down those channels. But yeah, in today's world, you can find anybody. Like
Uh-huh.
anybody, you just got to be willing to do that or put yourself in places where you might not want to be, or weed smokers. We've been places we don't want to be. So it's all good.
Well, I think technology also helps us vet potential employers or potential clients because you can do a quick search and find out like how long they've been in business. And depending on the type of business, you can get some sense of if the plant touching the stat, there's really good stats. So you can see what their annual sales are. But I'm sure Angela would agree with this. Just because you've got great annual sales does not mean you made a profit.
No, not at
Right.
all.
You know, because the
Absolutely.
numbers are more than just how much you sell. You
Mhm.
know, they're
You
everything
can
else.
give it all away in discounts.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that seems to be the trend. People are looking for cheap and high levels of THC. And
Oh, good.
that's the
Oh,
big problem with well, at least here in New Jersey. Um, that's they're panicking because everybody's struggling. Everybody's struggling. So they're panicking, trying to get the money to pay the bills, but with all these sales and they again not taking the
oh, okay.
time
Great package.
that they're again missing opportunity, and this is what's costing them their business,
Mhm.
the trajectory that they're going on, and I see it happening, and it's I get it. You have to pick and choose. I don't know how that is with any of you guys, but that's how it is here in Jersey.
I think
Well, I think
education is
Colorado.
really gonna. Sorry. Hmm?
I think Colorado is very unique since we were the first with adult use legalization.
Mm-hmm.
And, we looked like the shining child out there, that we could do no wrong. And we did a lot of wrong, which is reflective in just the flatness of the industry here.
Mm-hmm.
So it is so much different than like the East Coast, where especially New Jersey and New York, where there's such activity and energy, and also that sense of competitiveness, but also of bad actors, because that's what attracts the bad actors.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because we're isolated, because it's not federally legal, we don't know who the bad actors are. Because I have found bad actors that started here in Denver and are
I
in
saw
their
that.
fourth state now. You know, they just move to another state
Mhm.
and change
I
the
tried it
business
on.
name and, you know, start all over. Uh, you know, so I think that each state is different and each area is different. And I think that that has a lot to do with just the cultures of our different states.
Yeah.
You know, like the East Coast is entirely different than the West Coast. Or the Atlantic.
Massachusetts, for example,
Yeah, you gotta put it.
Nancy and Deanna, I'm sure, they were trying, Massachusetts was trying to petition uh, to stop recreational,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
I think we are going through a transition right now that is actually about education and evolution,
I
because
could
the
delete
I
the
agree.
focus needs to shift from THC to cannabinoids and terpenes. And I think that that is happening
yeah,
in the
but I think it might be
industry, but that
it's
comes down to education. You know,
or that
the
much.
consumer needs to be educated to the fact that the THC does not matter. It's about the cannabinoids and the
I don't know
terpenes
why people
and
hate me.
what, you know, we need to be educating the consumer on is where the real value in cannabis lies, is not the THC content,
No,
right?
not and for me as a senior, getting back into just being a medical patient
I
and
know we
coming from the
in
70s,
elementary I think, but then that
and
wasn't a,
it
I don't
was
know
it
why they
was
put that
like
on it.
I there was so much that I didn't know. It was like I just need something for the pain, and it's a lot the seniors don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hmm.
seniors, we're special. We really are. We're the
Go by
OGs.
that.
But I
I
think
want
that's
to be.
really education.
Yes.
The bud tenders can really bring a lot of education. If you've got somebody coming into a retail space saying, "Oh, I want 100% THC," you can say, well, uh, are you looking for something piney? Are you looking for, CBG? And be more, elevated. Let's
Mhm.
elevate the discussion off of THC into what is really matters, um,
And the bud
to women.
tenders, they need not only to be trained on product, they need to be trained on interpersonal skills.
Mm-hmm.
And they also definitely need to be trained on working with seniors. Like I said, we're a different breed. We have lots of questions. We like to, we like things figured out and to make sense. So, that's very important. Not just the bud tender training for, this product and that product. They need the interpersonal skills. And that is, I think that's something that is a team building experience.
Mm-hmm.
So for the next think tank, I'm going to invite Angie Rolla. She wrote the Bud Tenders Blueprint, Compassion at the Counter. And she has worked in the industry in just about every job position that was available. And she's now into the educational part of this because I think that she would really bring a lot to the conversation because we keep going back when we talk about leaders and teams to the team, and the team seems to be predominantly the front, the front the front of the house people, to use a restaurant term. Uh, and then also Sarah Salazar out of Las Vegas, because that would give also another perspective. And she is also doing some things now with Alex with the football team. So to wrap this up, and as you all wrap up the end of your work week, I don't really mean that because I know that you're not wrapping up the end of your work week. That we are the people who answers all those emails and works on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
And I find that the slowest business days for me are Friday afternoons, and absolutely nothing happens on Saturday, and then Sunday evening everybody gets back online. And everyone, and then Monday morning is just it's Monday.
It's cleanup.
So even though you're wrapping up this part of your work week, I know you're not wrapping up your work week because we can't help ourselves. You know, Nancy Diana is going to answer every one of those TarTube emails and follow up because that's old people still use phone calls.
Yes.
I still follow up with phone calls,
Yeah, we do though.
which
We
could
do.
be really
We
interesting.
gotta jump.
So, okay, what's one quick takeaway for the audience? What would you like? What do you want? What message do you want to send out there?
I'd like to focus on professionalism and let's pay a bud tender worth the money to get involved enough to learn. If you're going to pay them enough to flip a burger at McDonald's, you shouldn't have an expectation of them to be able to educate anybody.
Mhm.
If you're going to incentivize them and reward them for their knowledge, I think that's great.
Very good. Okay, Deanna, do you have any input?
No, I think that, as I mentioned earlier, I think that you always have to be, you can't lose touch with not just your product, but also the people you're working with or the people who are working for you. And so, you know what, if I'm not willing to do something, I can't expect someone else to do it.
Okay.
So, you know, I think it's a good philosophy as much as possible, stay involved and, you know what the jobs are like that you're asking people to do.
Yeah, I agree. So, Liz, what's your word? What's your bit of wisdom as we wrap it up?
It's all about the education on both sides of the fence. That's just the way it is. For both the professionals, for the consumers, everybody needs to start focusing on educating and working with each other. Be the team. But education is number one. I'm sorry. I just won't bend on that.
So, Angela, are you going to echo that?
I am going to say that, you know, women make great team captains because we are collaborators and we are the central pivot point of a family system. But that makes us want to tend to wear all of the hats all of the time. If we want to move into a leadership role, we need to be able to um, elevate our understanding of what leadership is and not look at it from an authoritative lens, but keep hold of that collaboration piece and use it very intentionally to influence your team to the mission to complete the shared goal.
Okay. And what would you like to add, Katie?
There's so much I could add, but I'm going to keep it short because I know we're all all tired on this call. I think for me, create a healthy company culture as you're growing and leading that you would be thrilled to work in.
Oh,
I am not building a business that I wouldn't want to work in. I'm building a business that people will want to work in. So I think as leaders, it's our responsibility to do that and continue to create positivity, not just in this industry, but just in general in business.
Oh, I love that. And I also love everything that all of you bring to the table. And thank you so much for taking the time to really share your insights and your wisdom. This can be reviewed on the Women's Cannabis Chamber of Commerce LinkedIn page, YouTube page, and the website. And again, thank you all so much, ladies, for taking the time to do this and to share.